Dun 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 Shows World.
Welcome to Shows World Gamers. Josh here, and it is once again that time of the week. That's right, as this week draws to a close, I wanted to take a moment to look at some of the biggest video game news stories from this last week. We're also going to take a look at some of the biggest gaming announcements that took place over this last week, and of course, this week's biggest video game releases that you're definitely not going to want to miss. But do me a quick favor, if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join in on the fun. Alright gamers, let's kick off this week in review with a few news stories. And we're going to start with Gamescom. That's right, Gamescom kicked off this week with Jeff Keighley's opening night live showcase. The kickoff to the biggest in-person gaming expo in the world that takes place annually in Germany was packed with upcoming games on Nintendo Switch consoles, PC, PlayStation, and Xbox consoles. The showcase kicked off with a bunch of info on Call of Duty Black Ops 7, including the November 14th release date. The showcase was packed with around 45 games, including a few video game TV shows. Many of the games were updated looks at and kind of DLC announcements. We did get a few new announcements of games, with the big closeout being the next game in the Black Myth action RPG series, Black Myth: Zen'Qi. Overall, the showcase was just kind of average, but there was some fun stuff to be seen here. Now, we also did get another Nintendo Direct this week, but once again, it was not that big dedicated Direct that, well, Nintendo fans have been clamoring for. This time, we got a dedicated Direct for the upcoming Kirby Air Riders game. The Direct had famed game developer and original creator of Kirby himself, Sakurai, showing off his latest game. The racing / kind of party style game looks fun, with racing as well as a sandbox style mode called City Trial, where you can compete with up to 16 other players, and the game does support online play. But I kind of question the amount of content there will be in the game. We did get a November 20th release date and a $70 price tag, which seems a little steep, so I guess we'll find out then if this one is really worth it. Now, in some disappointing news this week out of Sony, well, it happened again. We did get the announcement and follow-through of price increases on all PlayStation 5 consoles, which each of them getting a $50 price hike. The new price for the standard PlayStation 5 is now $550, the digital-only edition is now $500, and the PlayStation Pro raised its price up to $750. This has been an unfortunate trend in the gaming industry lately, as Xbox made similar moves earlier this year, and Nintendo recently raised prices on Switch 1 consoles. Now, one increasingly annoying trend in the gaming industry has been when games get announced just way too early. But, well, one of those games, we finally have a release date, and it's one of the most anticipated games that was announced in a trailer, well, all the way back in 2019. That's right, Hollow Knight Silksong finally received a release date trailer during Gamescom, and the wait is finally over because we are getting our hands on this sequel to the award-winning, very challenging Metroidvania game in about 2 weeks. When it releases on September 4th, the game's going to be available on Nintendo Switch consoles, PlayStation consoles, PC, and Xbox systems. And all I gotta say is, it's about time. Next up, let's take a look at some gaming announcements. And we're going to start with Comic Zero. The game received an announcement trailer this week. Now, this indie game is a 2D action game, and it is heavily inspired by the classic Sega Genesis game Comix Zone, where the levels are laid out like panels in a comic book. The game looks really promising, with animated cutscenes, voice acting, and some really fun-looking gameplay. The game is coming to the Nintendo Switch 1 and 2, PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox Series systems, but no release date has been announced at this time. Now, my 2024 Game of the Year, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, was shown at Gamescom opening night, where we got a new trailer for the Order of the Giants DLC coming in just a few weeks on September 4th. But the big news coming at the end of the trailer unveiled that the globe-trotting action-adventure game will be coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026. Also, Microsoft announced that Starfield will also be coming to the Switch 2 next year. Now, Death by Scrolling was also shown off during the Gamescom opening night showcase, and this indie game just looks like a lot of fun. The pixel art game is a roguelike, vertically scrolling RPG where you kill enemies, collect gold, and avoid the Grim Reapers long enough to pay the ferryman's exorbitant river crossing fee to the afterlife. The game is currently announced for PC with no release date at this time, but I do expect a console version is coming at some point, and I'm definitely going to be playing this one when it releases. Now, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Dragon Pearl of Destruction was announced, with the game coming to the Nintendo Switch 1 and 2, PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox Series systems. The game is a classic arcade-style beat-em-up with 4 playable characters in single or multiplayer co-op game modes, coming to Nintendo Switch consoles, PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox Series systems. Now, one of the coolest games I saw this week was Densha Attack. It is an absolute insane, crazy-looking extreme train game. It is going to come to the PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox Series systems in 2026. Now, you actually take control of a train, which you can flip, trick, wall ride, jump between tracks, and grind in a fast-paced, off-the-rails ride through a colorful, animated Japanese dystopia that will remind you of the bright, stylized design of games like Jet Set Radio as you outmatch rival gangs and battle in huge boss battles. This game came out of nowhere, and this is another one that I will absolutely be playing when it does release. Alright gamers, let's finish up this week in review with a few new video game releases. And it was kind of a light week, but we got a few things here that look interesting. And we're going to start with, well, the newest game added to the Nintendo Switch Online service, this time in the Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive GameCube library of games, as we finally got Chibi Robo Plug Into Adventure. The action platformer has you taking control of the battery-powered 4-inch robot Chibi Robo as you help the Sanderson family by cleaning, finding lost items, and solving various household problems. We checked out the game here on the channel, so definitely check out that video for a deeper look at this game. I had a blast with it, and this is a game that I'm definitely going to be playing quite a bit here in the next few weeks. Now, Discounty released this week on the Nintendo Switch consoles, PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox Series systems. The game is an addicting, cozy life sim that has you moving to a small town and setting up and running a supermarket as you interact with an eclectic collection of townspeople. This is another game that we checked out an early version of here on the channel, and I found it really enjoyable, so check out that video for more info on this cozy style game. Herdling also released this week on the PlayStation 5, PC, Xbox Series systems, and the game is actually a day one release on Game Pass. The game is a narrative herding simulator developed by Okamotive, which was the creators of the Far series. Now, in this indie game, you will be guiding a herd of mysterious creatures up a mountain path, with a focus on emotional storytelling and companionship. This isn't a game that I would probably normally play, but it's on Game Pass, so I might go ahead and download it and check it out over the weekend. Alright gamers, that concludes this week in review for the week ending on August 22nd. The week started with Drive X Drive releasing onto the Nintendo Switch 2 to, well, some disappointing fanfare, as the game is just kind of a clunky, slow, and the game's just not a lot of fun. Then we finally got information on Kirby's Air Ride on the Nintendo Switch 2, and I'm looking forward to jumping into this one. But this might end up being a Nintendo mess, as I kind of question whether it's worth $70. I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see. And the week ended with news that Metroid Prime 4 has received some official ratings, meaning the game development, which has been going on for over 8 years, appears to be complete, and we may be getting news on a release date soon. But let me know anything we may have missed in the comments, and thanks for joining us today, gamers. If this is your first time on the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we hope to see you on the next one. Shows World, out.